All right, what's going on, guys? It's May 14th, and I want to do a quick trade recap, mainly for myself, just to go over the trade that I took today. Asia session took this around 12:05, 12:10 p.m. or a.m., so it's the new day. I kind of stayed in the charts for 2 hours because I don't want to trade tomorrow morning. I kind of have some errands I got to run. I gotta get a haircut and do a couple things, so I don't want to be in front of the charts tomorrow morning, so thank the Lord we were able to catch a nice trade for $300 across 3 accounts. So here's what's going on. Well, I'll go to the hourly first of all. So if we look at the chart here, we can see we had previous all-time highs made yesterday at around 2 p.m. in the afternoon, or the 2 to 3 p.m. macro. So right off the open at Asia, it ripped through the previous all-time highs, and we made a new all-time high here, sitting at around 29692, almost 29,700. And then we sold off quite significantly. I haven't seen these many consecutively bearish candles in a row in a while, especially in all-time high conditions. That is pretty rare. So we basically from 9 through 11, 12 a.m. open, we sold off. And actually, we created a nice inversion at the hourly gap here. And so that being said, I did try a long earlier. It got stopped out break even. It was like 3-4 points away from TP. It had held the 10 p.m. open level. But so I stayed patient. I don't want to take shorts yet. I'm not comfortable with shorts given that we're still in all-time high conditions. So that being said, what I do is I mark out key levels in the higher time frame. And a very important key level is the daily open. As you can see right here, I have it marked out. And if we go into replay mode, I'll go back to, say, 11:59. What I was looking at is I was kind of waiting for us to hit the daily open and see how price would react. And then, interestingly enough, we had a 15-minute fair value gap formed right before we got to the daily open level, and so we have an area of interest where price could potentially, oops, did I mean to do that? Let me get my zoom tool opened up here. So we have an area of interest where price could potentially open up, drive lower. If we get above that daily open level here, then more than likely our next target is going to be the daily fair value gap. So I'm kind of just waiting around, seeing if we get an entry, seeing how price reacts to these key levels. Because we had some fake drives to the upside earlier, but we didn't get any inversions, thankfully. So basically, I'm waiting for the 12 p.m. open. And we got exactly what I wanted to see, which was an open low. So this is the 12 p.m. open. If we go to the hourly, we can see right now it's an hourly bearish candle. So if I want upside, I'm going to hope that price manipulates to the downside first to then flip above its opening price and drive higher. That being said, I marked out the open of the 12 a.m. candle. Boom, we drive a little lower, sweep that internal low, and I'm kind of waiting to see what price does, how price reacts. We're still kind of messing around, and then we start to push up, push up, push up, and at this point we flip above the hourly open level, and then we get above the daily open level. Now at this point, I wanted to get in at this change in the state of delivery, so I had a limit order here. Unfortunately, as you will see, I don't get tapped in. So next candle comes in, it does tap the daily open level, just barely, maybe misses it by a tick. and then it drives higher. So at this point, I have a decision to make. I can either enter aggressively off of the inversion fair value gap here, or I can wait for a retest of the daily open level. Ideally, I would like to have placed my stop at the low right down here, but if I get in at the fair value gap, then I won't be able to put my stop there because the RR is just not going to be good. However, I can do a 1-to-1, and just given how close we are to the 15-minute fair value gap, I felt like I had to enter more aggressively. I mean, if we go to the 15-minute now, we can see that the previous candle closed just below the daily open level. The next candle opened up, drove lower, swept this candle's low, flipped above its open price, and now we are in a position where our next target is going to be this 15-minute fair value gap above, and so I want to make sure I get a piece of the action per se. So I did put my limit order at the halfway mark of the inversion, and I'm waiting to get tapped in. I almost don't get tapped in here and the draw is taken, but thankfully price comes back around and taps me in. Now the reason I get tapped in, I think, is because it doesn't show it now, but the next 15-minute candle opened up, or is gonna open soon, and it drives lower. So boom, there it is. So it drives lower, and then it manipulates to the downside to then go up to the 15-minute fair value gap. So basically, I had a 1-to-1, and I feel pretty good about this 1-to-1. And the reason is that if price were to come down, more than likely the first area of support it needs to get through is this daily open level, and this is a very strong key level. So I'd expect price possibly to come down here, bounce back up to take out the liquidity resting in the 15-minute, and then come back down or continue up, whatever it wants to do. But I just know that this is our next draw. However, price didn't even come all the way down there. It just typed the inversion, then continued higher. It kind of got close to my TP, started playing around. It got super close to my TP there because I have it at the halfway mark of the fair value gap. I was about to close manually. I was just giving it 1 or 2 more candles. At this point, I am break even, obviously, just because of how close we are to the draw. And then price finally wicks me out of there for $300. And yeah, that was pretty much the trade. Just stayed patient, man. That's so important. Stayed patient for almost an hour. Some people say, oh, when you're a day trader, you just work for 15 minutes or something like that. Not quite. Sometimes you're sitting in the charts waiting for a setup that's clear to present itself, and when it doesn't, you're sitting on your hands. That's a edge in itself, not being able to take trades when there are no trades to take. So that's today's trade recap. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, stay tuned for the next one. God bless you guys. Peace out.